Sister, what has surprised you in your vocation?
Okay.
So question two.
Question two. What has surprised me?
You?
What has surprised me? And I think truly a lot has surprised me because, in all transparency, when I entered the convent, I didn't know we took classes. I don't know what I thought we did all day, but I had no idea. And the second thing is how much I love living with people who are vastly different ages of me. Because I live with sisters that are 23 up to 84. And so the witness of like, yeah, we have sisters that have been in community for 65 years. And so their witness of what it means to be a bride of Christ. And when they talk to you and share with you about their life, what they have went through and how that has grown and changed. And it's really beautiful and it's really inspiring, but it's also humbling that I get to live with these people who are way more holier than I am, and who are such a witness of what it means to say yes to Jesus every day, and what it means to truly give themselves out of love. So that has been something that I didn't anticipate entering into relationship with my sisters in that way, but has been very, very beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. Father,
incredible.
So you are a priest. You are a priest forever.
I'm a priest.
What has been...
I'm Father Schimel, a Roman Catholic priest.
What has been most surprising about being a priest?
What has been most surprising about becoming a priest? Yeah, I think that in the seminary you have a lot of dedicated time to study and to pray, and to live in community with other guys. The priestly life, you're not kind of living in a community setting as much as you were in the seminary, and we know about that when we're going through the time in seminary. But that can be something that can be kind of like a readjustment, if anything, just a readjustment of your life. And that's why it's important to have kind of those non-negotiable things that you're going to do every day and kind of keep yourself in line. But what has really surprised me is how much more I love Jesus as a result of I've been a priest for 1.5 years now, and when I was becoming a deacon, I thought that I loved Jesus as much as I ever would, and that expanded even more when I was ordained a priest, and that continues to grow deeper and deeper as the days and the weeks go by, in sort of like intense ways at times too, though. Like, it requires a lot more. I find that in the vocation, it requires a lot more surrender than it might have been in the seminary. I think that in the seminary and in the time of sort of preparation for the priesthood, there was a lot of really good encouragement, and so you're encouraged to make that surrender, and that becomes like you have a culture of prayer, and you have formation advisors who are encouraging you to make those movements along the way. And as a priest, those surrenders have just kind of taken on sometimes a more severe tone to them, because we administer to the people of God, and there are things that we have to really recognize are outside of our control. And so that power of surrender becomes even more profound in a way, becomes more trying. Feels like every single week there's a way to surrender, and if not every day.
I was going to say every day.
That's been a very interesting facet. The surrender is deepening, and the power of intercession and fatherhood in the priesthood is very shocking. It's very new, and it's something that comes with time. A priest told me before I became a priest, because I had this really deep prayer. I really wanted to learn what it meant to be a spiritual father, what it means to be father, because I think it's really, I feel like a brother to many people, and I feel like a friend to many people, and being a father to people is a lot different. I have friends who are married and have kids, and it's like, I don't know if I would be ready for that. So, but instead it's, a priest had told me before I became a priest that Fathers learn to be fathers from their children, and husbands learn to be husbands from their wives. And so the church is teaching is teaching me in those places, and the people of God teach me how to be a better father when they make their needs known, in those moments where people call you and they are asking for the sacraments, or you find yourself in a scene that is unique and new, and there's a lot of new situations that like, oh, that won't happen in the first freeze or first set, and it hits like the first week, and you're like, what? Okay, and you're like, okay, and you go into it, and you just have this confidence that Jesus is with you, and I think I'm a lot less fearful of what may come, because this greater sense of confidence that Jesus is with me, and that I'm called to bring Jesus with me wherever I go. So that sort of kind of being fascinated, in a sense, kind of fascinated by fatherhood, and the surrenders are deep.
No matter what vocation God calls you to, that life is full of surprises. And this sounds a little cliche, but since the Feast of John Paul II is coming up, I've been thinking about that quote, "Life with Christ is a wonderful adventure." Mm-hmm. Because when Father is talking about surrender, that, I don't know, I think that is evident in everyone's life and in every vocation. And you have to surrender in ways that you never anticipated and you never thought. And quite frankly, in some ways that you don't want to. Mm-hmm. Like, you do not want to. But out of love for Christ, that is what we do. And one thing that I've just been struck by recently is how God is never outdone in generosity. And so life with Christ truly is an adventure, because you never know how he's going to ask you to say yes. But even when it hurts, even when you feel the pinch, that he supplies he supplies graces and joy and adventure in ways that you never would imagine, and fills your poverty with exactly what you need when you need it, not before, not after, but right then, because he is present. He is always present, and it is so good.
Yeah. My first spiritual director in college, he said, "Let Jesus surprise you," and that has been sort of a mantra, or a through line that sort of weaves itself in and out of life. I think when we live with Christ and we enter into that amazing adventure of living in a relationship with him and seeking to communicate with him more and more, immersing ourselves into the scriptures and finding Jesus there, life just becomes more surprising in ways. Yeah. We might realize we're like strangers and sojourners on a journey towards heaven, and that become, in a sense, that's awakened within us even more. The more we spend time with Jesus, is that he's never done with us. Mm-hmm. He's never fatigued. He's never tired either, and he never stops pursuing, and he always has more to share. And so life becomes so much more hopeful and so much more surprising, because we're seeking his presence. We want him to just permeate and break through the lens of reality that I have. Yeah. And that's exactly what he promises to do. And so that life with Christ has become that adventure. And so that's good, like, just to think, okay, can Jesus surprise me? Well, yeah, he can. Yeah. And he will.
Yeah. Do you let Jesus surprise you?
Yeah, it's true.
Because I don't know. So someone asked me how Jesus surprises me, and I think there was like a part of me that was really taken aback, but then there was also a part of me that like sometimes goes to prayer and is like, this is what I think I need to pray about, and this is what I think I need to do, but to go without an agenda, to go without like expecting Jesus to do something, but just to allow him to do what he wants to do in your life. Mm-hmm. To allow freedom in your schedule for him to surprise you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.